How to Make Money with AI. Sean Fenlon, founder and CEO at Symphony 42, the world's first AI lead generation platform. July 4th, 2023. Today is Independence Day, the 4th of July, 2023. I am publishing this article today in honor of the United States of America. USA indisputably stands as the greatest country on the planet. USA is the birthplace of free market capitalism and countless technology innovations that can potentially improve the lives of every person on the planet. Pioneering tech entrepreneurs and founders, fueled by relentless grit and determination, have decisively solidified the USA's leadership in the global arena, delivering on the promise of new tech breakthroughs and demonstrating the unbridled power of free society. This article is at the intersection of tech innovation and free market capitalism. How to make money with AI. It's the ultimate question. Intro: Historical Science and Technology. The most recent tech transformation in 2023 is AI, artificial intelligence. You may have heard about it already. It's in all the headlines these days. I believe history books will attribute November 30th, 2022, public release of ChatGPT by OpenAI, as the official birth of the AI era. Previous breakthroughs in science and technology ultimately affecting every person on the planet before AI include humans controlling fire, circa 500,000 BC, printing press, 1440, electricity, 1879, personal computers, 1980s, internet, Netscape IPO, 1995, iPhone, mobile smartphones, 2007. All these pre-AI technological breakthroughs resulted in massive opportunities for making money. However, in the opinion of this veteran internet entrepreneur, AI now represents the single most powerful force in human history for making money. Almost everyone in tech is currently obsessing over the best ways to make money in this new era of AI. The ultimate question is, as it has always been, how to make money using this new technology. The ultimate answer is unfortunately not 42. Internet plus Google equals make money. As an old internet tech entrepreneur that started in the mid-1990s, I believe that the best answer for how to make money using AI is by analyzing how Google made money in the new era of the internet, beginning in 1995 with the Netscape IPO, the birth of the consumer internet. Google is objectively the single most successful internet business ever in terms of growth, value creation, and value capture, that is, making money. Google's consistent revenue growth, profitability, and cash flows are unmatched by any other internet tech business, and these achievements are largely a result of its business model and strategies. Google was founded in 1998 as the 12th internet search engine. When Eric Schmidt joined Google as CEO in 2001, the company was not fully certain which revenue model would yield the highest returns, but ultimately bet on an internet advertising business model over internet search hardware and services sales into the enterprise. Who among the listeners of this article remembers the Google Search Console box sold to enterprises and data centers? Google's ad platform turned the business world on its head by helping Google achieve an unprecedented $1 billion in revenue in record time. Google first reported annual revenue of over $1 billion in 2003, simply by selling internet ads to businesses. The bet on internet ads was one of the most impactful decisions of early Google, as represented by this table below of total annual revenue of internet business models in 2020, that is, business models that could not exist without the internet, thus excluding e-commerce, travel bookings, etc., since those models could conceivably operate without an internet. It is worth also noting that Google Cloud represents a meaningful portion of the cloud computing services revenue as of 2020. But the Google Cloud offerings were launched years after the internet advertising business was firmly established and blissfully cash-flowing. For the more mission-driven and societal impact listeners of this article, it is also worth noting the blissful cash flows from Google's internet advertising business has funded countless mission-driven societal impact initiatives, including self-driving vehicles, autonomous drones, internet accessibility in remote areas, life sciences and health technologies, biological research on lifespan, etc. Personally, I am a huge fan of this first get the money model used by Google, and only then investing in more noble impact initiatives after that. Selling, growth, startup growth via Google Ads. Rather than attempting to compete directly with Google, internet entrepreneurs saw a different opportunity: buy from Google, rather than compete against them. Startups realized the power of buying ads from Google to propel the growth of their new internet businesses. The model effectively became a high-yielding arbitrage play, paying for cost-per-click (CPC) ads from Google and capitalizing on the high value per arrival (VPA) on their landing pages. This strategy was especially effective in high customer lifetime value (LTV) verticals like finance, travel, insurance, home services, and online for-profit education. Google advertisers ingeniously turned the act of buying traffic into a virtue, emphasizing their data-driven growth and efficient customer acquisition strategies. These industries and verticals represented Google's highest ad revenue markets for this very reason. Startup businesses recognized the optics of their dependence on Google Ads for their growth as a downside to their enterprise value, but controllable, scalable growth and solid unit economics represented a solid, calculated trade-off for the dependency on Google traffic. A well-balanced growth plan would ultimately require startups to gradually build their own branded organic traffic to reduce reliance on paid traffic channels like Google, but that was often deferred to later stages of the business. Thus, the history of startups growing via Google paid search turned out to be a strategy virtue, not a flaw. A planned feature, not a bug. Internet advertising is intrinsically a B2B sale. Businesses that spend money on internet advertising sell their goods and services to either consumers or to other businesses. A disproportionate amount of internet advertising sales has historically been to businesses that sell to consumers, B2C, which is congruent with the U.S. economy being 70% plus a result of consumer spending. Additionally, it is estimated that 75% plus of Google internet advertising sales are for net new customer acquisition efforts, including e-commerce, phone sales, that is, lead generation, ad arbitrages, app installs, and subscriptions. These advertisers are considered performance marketers because they are solely focused on the profitability of their ad spend, that is, ROAS, return on ad spend. The remaining 25% of Google ad sales are considered non-customer acquisition spend, primarily for branding and data collection without a clear ROAS measurement associated with the spend. For all types of businesses advertising for the purpose of customer acquisition, especially for businesses selling to consumers, the ultimate goal and desire of the business is revenue growth. It's the holy grail. Google's success is a direct result of the growth that their internet ads enabled for their advertiser business customers. By demonstrating that using Google Ads results in a measurable increase in advertisers' own sales and revenue, they tapped into the primary desire of all their business customers. Google was essentially selling growth, which is something all businesses crave. By doing so, Google grew faster than any other business in history, while making unprecedented amounts of money in the process. Analysis and framework of Google. Unprecedented success in making money. With the benefit of hindsight, we can now analyze all of Google's decisions, strategies, and business models to infer repeatable methods of how to make money on the internet. I believe that this framework can then be applied to methods of how to make money using AI, the single greatest money-making technology breakthrough in human history, as a template. Consumer-facing equals maximizing the value of the internet. For Google, every single new internet user represented incremental revenue opportunities via internet advertising. Using internet ads, Google and other businesses could conceivably communicate and potentially interact with every single internet user on the planet, virtually unlimited distribution. Thus, internet advertising became the killer money-making app on the internet, free for consumers, but hundreds of billions in annual revenue from advertisers. Technologies that are not consumer-facing confront inherently lower ceilings of their money-making potential, since their total customers, users, and/or audience will be a small subset of the all-internet users on the planet that Google can claim. The B2B2C, business-to-business-to-consumer model creates value that is greater than the sum of separate B2B, business-to-business, and B2C, business-to-consumer models. It is considered by many to be the most powerful, profitable, and fastest-growing of all internet business models. A B2B2C model like Google uses allows for the potential monetization of billions of individual internet users, consumers, without needing billions of individual business relationships, accounts. Google can benefit from the monetization of millions of consumers vis-a-vis a single advertiser customer account, which drastically slashes the cost and effort of servicing the billions of dollars in revenue. Sell growth. 75% plus of Google's internet advertising sales are a result of net new customer acquisition efforts by their advertisers. Thus, Google's primary core value proposition to businesses is to make money, not save money. This is playing offense with new technology, not defense. Conversely, most B2B enterprise software sales value propositions are to save money on live human labor costs. B2C businesses that buy advertising have a clear preference for growth. Cost savings simply don't generate the same level of excitement as does growth. Revenue growth, however, has a much higher value creation ceiling, virtually infinite, via increased sales. Revenue growth also offers the potential for exponential gains. For example, a hot new product or a successful customer acquisition campaign can lead to a rapid increase in customers and sales, leading to a multiplier effect on revenue. Also, from a human psychology perspective, growth is exciting. Growth is fun. Growth clearly indicates progress, innovation, market dominance, and increased value, power, and influence. Growth is an indicator of success that everyone, from founders and investors to employees and customers, can get behind. The best thing to sell to businesses is growth, QED. 100% software platform. Google's incredible profitability and cash flows are a result of their software platform business model, where zero live humans are required for daily revenue production end-to-end. Value is created by facilitating exchanges between advertisers, producers, and internet users, consumers. The systems are automated, and they leverage algorithms and machine learning to serve users and advertisers effectively at the relatively low cost of moving zeros and ones around on the internet at the speed of light via electrons. Command value-based pricing. Google uses an auction-based pricing model. This system creates scarcity because advertisers are essentially bidding for a finite number of internet users, consumers. Scarcity comes into play because there is a finite number of users available. As more advertisers bid, their respective price per fill-in blank costs tend to increase, reflecting the increased competition for consumers relative to the perceived scarcity of the consumers. Thus, pricing is determined from the top down, based on the expected value, EV, of the advertisers, rather than determined by the cost to Google to deliver the ad with an arbitrary profit margin applied on top, that is, bottom up. This value-based pricing is a key method for Google to capture the maximum amount of value that they create via profits derived from the efficiency of the marketplace resulting from the advertisers' bids. In stark contrast, airlines use a cost-up pricing model which prevents them from capturing the true value of their passengers' flights and prevents the airlines from making money, that is, profits. ROAS equals the supreme money-making metric. ROAS, that is, return on ad spend, represents a clear, supreme metric for measuring the financial performance of money spent on Google advertising. The ad spend part of ROAS is absolute. It's an objective and fixed amount at any point in time. Return on the ad spend can be calculated any way the advertiser believes is optimal to convey the financial performance of the ad spend, as long as it is quantifiable. The return value in the numerator could be revenue, most common, profit, or some other quantifiable metric of return used by the advertiser. Please note the ad spend in this context is customarily considered OPEX and/or COGS on the advertiser's P&L and seldom capitalized on the balance sheet. This will be an important distinction later in this article when we consider the ROAI as the supreme metric for measuring financial performance of AI. Applying Google Money-Making Success Framework to Making Money via AI. By acknowledging Google as the single greatest money-making business in history, as a result of the transformative new technology of the Internet, And by analyzing Google's framework of early decisions and strategies, we can infer and inform a similar business that has the best opportunity to become the new greatest money-making business in history, but this time using the transformative new technology of AI. I believe that the greatest money-making AI business startup in 2023 should reflect the early Google framework. Consumer-facing, 70% plus of the U.S. economy. Sell B2B2C, monetize millions, billions of consumers via a relatively small number of customer accounts. Sell growth, 75% plus of Google ad spend is for customer acquisition efforts. 100% software platform, no humans required for daily revenue production. Command value-based pricing, capture maximum amount of value created. ROAS equals supreme money-making metric, the key to recurring revenue ongoing proof of financial performance. Symphony 42 uses all these pages from the Google playbook, but leveraging AI as the transformational tech in addition to consumer internet traffic that Google leveraged. In this next section, however, I will focus specifically on the last item on the list above. ROS is the supreme money-making metric and will juxtapose it with ROAI, the new supreme money-making metric in the era of AI. I will also juxtapose how Google advertisers leveraged the capital-efficient model of buying traffic for their growth instead of the capital-intensive approach of building organic proprietary traffic for their growth, which would effectively mean competing with Google instead of being Google's customer. ROAI is the new ROAS, return on ad spend, ROAS, emerged as the supreme metric for Google advertisers, serving as the justification for their billions of dollars in ad expenditures. ROAS, that is the ratio of the value derived from ad spend relative to the cost of the ads, has proven essential in enabling internet businesses to grow fast and profitability. Just as ROAS became the supreme metric for Google ads, return on AI, ROAI, is poised to become the same in the realm of AI startups, particularly in this new era of AI-driven growth and spending. As investments in AI technology continue to escalate, the establishment of effective metrics to measure the return on AI becomes crucial. The definitive metric for AI return on investment is ROAI. The development of in-house AI solutions entails significant capital expenditures, including costs related to hardware, software, and labor. However, companies that use AI platforms such as ChatGPT from OpenAI can shift these upfront costs towards de minimis operating expenses, OpEx, and away from expensive CapEx. This cost dynamic mirrors the ad spend in ROAS, thereby positioning ROAI as the critical cost unit for evaluating the returns from AI usage. ROAI is primed to become the preeminent metric for monetization, serving as the key validation for recurring revenue and providing ongoing proof of financial performance. Much like ROAS in the world of Google Ads, ROAI is set to become the supreme money-making metric in the domain of AI. AI startups rent versus build. I propose a thought experiment paralleling the growth of Google's influence on tech startups and the AI startup landscape of 2023. During the early 2000s, instead of laboriously cultivating organic traffic, many startups chose the more capital-efficient route of buying ads from Google. Building systems for equally predictable growth, but from organic traffic instead of traffic from Google Ads, is a lengthy and capital-intensive process. However, renting consumer attention via Google Ads represents instant and predictable growth, financed via OpEx/COGS instead of CapEx in a more capital-efficient manner. A similar phenomenon is observable in the AI world today. While some AI startups in 2023 endeavor to develop their own internal proprietary AI models, an expensive and resource-heavy process akin to generating organic traffic, other startups opt for the lean approach. These lean AI startups build their innovative new tech products on industry-leading AI platforms such as the ChatGPT-4 API, a move analogous to purchasing ads from Google for growth traffic. It's a rent, that is, license strategy rather than build, that is, develop strategy, which is sometimes criticized for fostering dependence on another business's platform, for example, the early Zynga dependence on Facebook. Yet its favorable financial risk versus rewards advantages warrants all startups and VCs' consideration in developing appropriately balanced risk-reward strategies. To illustrate this concept, many successful internet startups in the early 2000s, such as LendingTree, Progressive, Esurance, TripAdvisor, Priceline/Booking.com, Expedia, and University of Phoenix, all became leading examples of this capital-efficient model by buying Google Ads to fuel their growth. This approach enabled them to focus their resources on developing and delivering unique value and refining their products, instead of obsessing over the Herculean challenge of growth via organic traffic. As their businesses expanded, they subsequently invested in their own brand equity and proprietary system to drive organic traffic and reduce their growth dependence on Google. Similarly, many AI startups in 2023 are choosing to start with other AI platforms, but will maintain the optionality of building their own proprietary AI models once they've achieved certain financial size scale milestones. Both approaches can present intriguing prospects, contingent on the startup's unique offerings and context. While developing an internal proprietary AI model might be a wise choice for a startup with game-changing AI/ML breakthroughs, most may find renting existing APIs, like GPT-4, a quicker and far more capital-efficient route to market. The critical element lies in devising a clear strategy to manage any platform dependence/concentration and guarantee the delivery of a unique value proposition to customers amidst the evolving AI landscape. In 2023, VCs are increasingly skeptical of thin product layers sitting on top of ChatGPT. Also critical to value creation and value capture is the cultivation of valuable, unique proprietary training data, the real arms race in AI that can be leveraged in the training of all AI models, both internal, proprietary, and external. Also, some AI startups like Symphony 42 Corporation mitigate the dependency risk by implementing a sophisticated champion-challenger methodology, where multiple AI platforms are integrated and used in production simultaneously. This allows startups to diversify their AI dependencies while identifying the best performers in the market at the lowest cost, and while also always maintaining future optionality for building proprietary AI models after a certain size scale of the business has been achieved. Summary. As a serial tech entrepreneur, I'm biased, but I genuinely believe that the best way to make money with AI in 2023 is by launching a new AI startup business. My AI startup Symphony 42 uses everything analyzed and described in this article, but by leveraging AI as the current transformational tech in addition to consumer internet traffic that Google leveraged. Additionally, Symphony 42 is leveraging the capital-efficient growth strategies of the fastest-growing Google advertisers, rather than building internal proprietary AI systems, which is inherently capital-intensive and occupies a different place on a risk-reward spectrum. The table below details the attributes and strategies of Google, Google advertisers, and Symphony 42. Please provide feedback in the comments section or contact me directly at Sean@symphony42.com.